I've been a Doom content creator for nearly 6 years and a massive fan of the franchise for more than a decade, so I truly mean it when I say this. Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations is the absolute pinnacle of Doom in almost every way. The combat, the levels, the narrative, the soundtrack, it all feels like the ultimate culmination of nearly 33 years of FPS perfection. Today, I'll be sharing my initial, spoiler-free thoughts on the newly released DLC. I won't be directly discussing any major narrative elements or showing any gameplay past the first 3 levels, so there's no worry of encountering any spoilers if you haven't played the expansion and want an honest review from a hardcore Doom fan. You know how some people say they can never go back to Doom 2016 after experiencing Eternal? Well, that's exactly how I feel about Revelations. Not only is it such a monumental step up from the already incredible main campaign, but to me, it's a league above anything else modern Doom has to offer, and I'm not sure how I'll ever return to the previous titles. The Chainspear is what really elevates the experience and brings it all together. It's a beautifully designed tool that has something to offer on all fronts. Vertical meat hooking and dashing innovates on some of Eternal's most beloved mechanics, advanced parrying and horizontal orbiting builds on the foundation established in the Dark Ages campaign, and the vast array of new abilities that can be used to exploit enemy weaknesses raises the skill ceiling through the roof for anyone who felt like the game was previously lacking in that regard. I've only just dipped my toes into the endgame content and haven't gotten a full grasp on the spear and shield synergy, but I can already tell that there's great potential for some absolutely devastating combos. But as Hugo Martin has said in the past, a hero is only as strong as the enemies he defeats, and Revelations goes above and beyond to ensure that you're constantly facing some of the most powerful foes in the franchise's history. The Pain Elemental, Buzzsaw, and Warhammer Agadon are of course some of the standouts, but the best addition to Hell's armies is, by far, the Archvile. That sick bastard is back and meaner than ever, which is a good thing, because his incredibly unique attack patterns and overly evasive nature are exactly why he's not just my favorite interpretation of the Summoner class, but one of my favorite super heavy enemies in general. And can we take a moment to appreciate the enemy design? I mean, the modernized take on the Archvile's classic sprite is damn near perfect, and the Pain Elemental being formed out of hands is simply brilliant. It amazes me how they continue to come up with designs this metal. And don't even get me started on the Buzzsaw. This guy has one of my favorite designs in all of Doom, and I could not be happier that we finally have an enemy with an appearance that can rival the Doom Hunter. From the concept team to the modelers and effects artists, id Software has absolutely outdone themselves once again. When you actually face these guys in battle, you'll find that it's easier than ever to weave through seas of projectiles and outmaneuver incoming attacks thanks to how well designed the levels are. Each and every battlefield is crafted with fluidity in mind. They're spacious enough to allow for proper meat hook swings and long-distance shield charges, while still packing enough line-of-sight blockers and elevation changes to keep the player from being too vulnerable. The sizable stretches between major arenas are also a notable improvement over a lot of what we've seen in the previous modern entries. Secrets are better hidden with more complex solutions and rewards that aren't marked on the auto map, making it more rewarding to actively seek out additional resources and collectibles. When it comes to the art direction, I don't think I'm alone in saying that Revelations boast some of the most impressive visuals and jaw-dropping vistas ever featured in Doom. It's honestly pretty difficult to say which level is my favorite. I was blown away by how they handled the Cosmic Realm, but Uprising had some beautiful environments with impeccable atmosphere, and walking the petrified streets of Osius felt like I was right back in Doom 2016. In regards to both the combat and missions, I only have a single notable complaint. While I do understand that they wanted Hell's Core to maintain a heightened level of difficulty, I think that it's a bit overkill and definitely needs a little post-launch tuning in a few spots. Being asked to relearn half of the combat loop as you push through some admittedly tough encounters can get overwhelming in a way that often walks the line between fun and frustration. The Chainspear is a complex tool, and one that I personally didn't begin to understand until the midsection of the Cosmic Realm, so it may help other players adapt more quickly if they're given a higher number of encounters where they can truly flourish without risk of being obliterated. I'm not going to dive too deep into this, as I think everyone should experience it for themselves if possible, but the DLC narrative is just absurdly good. We see our hero defeated and weakened during a pivotal point in his journey, only to rise above the sins of his past and come out stronger than ever. It is an empowering story that features the most impactful and uplifting writing in the series, making it abundantly clear that they've listened to every single complaint we've had across the past decade. I was personally a little disappointed by how shallow and plain some of these standard Dark Ages Codex entries felt, which is why I'm ecstatic to say that the vast majority of lore pages and revelations are not only an improvement over the main campaign, but better than the ones featured throughout Doom Eternal. And of course, our tale of defeat and redemption wouldn't be nearly as impactful without finishing move's outstanding score. Now don't get me wrong, I'm a really big fan of their work on the campaign and would confidently place a few of their tracks on my top 10 list, but they definitely had a few kinks to work out as they further established their own flavor of Doom. And I am once again thrilled to report that the magnificent team at Finishing Move has completely outdone themselves with an OST packed full of legendary tracks. It has taken less than 5 full days for Fractal Abyss to enter my list of favorite Doom songs. I mean, it's magnificent and fits the Chasm of Xal'Goroth perfectly. Just listen to this stuff. I had absurdly high expectations for Doom the Dark Ages Revelations, and still can't believe just how easily they managed to surpass them. I am extraordinarily confident in saying that this DLC is the best work I've ever experienced from id Software. It's a true celebration of the franchise that fully provides everything that a hardcore fan could ever dream of. Even with that being said, I am utterly shattered to say that my time playing Revelations wasn't entirely filled to the brim with raw excitement and joy. It was instead weighed down by the gut-wrenching news that more than half of the team at id Software was laid off by Xbox only a day before the launch of their newest project. Writing this portion of the script is probably the most I've struggled while working on a video in a very long time. I've looked up to the industry-leading talent at id Software for around half my life. I've aspired to achieve their level of greatness and hope to someday work alongside them. I'm actually pursuing a career in game development because of the heights that id Software has reached throughout the past 35 years. If it were not for their work, you wouldn't be watching this video and I wouldn't be making it. What's become of them is entirely undeserved and is nothing short of an absolute tragedy. I have no idea what the future holds for those who remain at id Software, but I do know that no matter what happens, I could not be more proud of them. They have just concluded the best FPS trilogy in gaming history with what is undoubtedly their greatest, most impressive work yet. The story has come full circle in what amounts not just to a true evolution of the genre, but a tribute to the path they walked to reach it. If this really is the last Doom review I ever have the privilege of delivering on this channel, then I find some comfort in knowing that things ended on the highest note imaginable. Whether you've been with me since I began covering cosmetic events in Doom Eternal, or just tuned in as I've been given the opportunity to deliver exclusive first-hand previews of Doom the Dark Ages, I wanted to thank you all for coming with me on such an unpredictably amazing journey. I hope that you'll continue to join me as I support id Software's future endeavors and show the heads at Xbox that we still love the folks at id Software and the experiences they create. I think that's all that I have for today's video, though. Until next time.